Hello everybody and welcome to another list video. Today we are continuing the best player card expansion to buy for each class. This is something that you guys have wanted. As I said previously in the Survivor video, I'm breaking this up by class because the answer to this is kind of complicated, and then at the end I'll do a roundup video for all this stuff. But why don't we dive in, get this going with our first one here, which is, never mind, we got this segue I'm going to go back to, just rewind and go, the Investigator starter decks are always the #1 purchase because they're just so dang good. I think that is especially true for the Mystics because just another spell suite is really nice. When we say spell suite, we're referring to things that you'll have in your core set, like Shriveling or your level 2 Rite of Seeking, which is not actually a spell suite because you just get one of them, but it's that same with Shriveling.
Yeah,
well, you get two of them, of course.
Yeah, not some sort of like spell sweetener, like aspartame, or aspartame. However you
yes, yeah.
It's one of those purple names. It's tough to.
Yes, yeah. Jacqueline is also really good, but these are always recommended. Now we're actually going to go to the number 9 of our list here, which is the Feast of Hemlock Vale. We have a few notable cards that we were going to be talking about here.
I thought this one was going to be number 8.
No.
Okay.
Innsmouth is number 8. Spoiler alert.
I misunderstood that. I thought, never mind.
You were the reason that I put this as number 9, because I thought you said that you wanted it.
I did, and I thought you said the reason for it to be number 8, and I was like, okay.
No, because you convinced me, because I was looking through. We'll worry about that when we get to Promise of Power, but the reason why this one, and then spoiler alert, also Innsmouth is here is because the Bless Curse stuff is kind of just very limited
janky.
To that box. Yeah, janky is another good way of it.
The paradoxical stuff is kind of janky.
Yeah. Like, you really only get good at that if you have, like, Kohaku and Paradoxical Covenant, and they're in 2 different boxes.
That's a little tough,
So, like, that's kind of tough. And they're not recommended for, like, those are your first 2 purchases for that very reason. Because then after that, you're like, I've done it with, like, one of the 2 investigators that can do it. Yeah,
like, curses are strong.
Yes.
Blesses are strong. Both of them? I mean, like, it's okay for this guy. It's okay for this guy.
Yeah.
But otherwise.
The nice thing about Kohaku is that he actually has a pretty good kit in his entire cycle, and he also actually can use Bless and Curse tokens as a resource as opposed to trying to draw them. So he plays like really nicely for that kind of thing. You also get some powerful cards in the forms of All of McBride 2 and Read the Signs and Spectral Razor. Those are just like, these are the upgraded versions. There will be the level 0 versions, which we're going to meet in the future. And
in essence, it's playable too.
It's mostly because you have Agnes in the core set, or Jacqueline if you follow the recommendations, and they can both play that card fine. Yeah.
I mean, it's also not terrible for Kohaku, but it's not great either.
Yeah.
It's like one of the spells of all time.
Yeah, that is a great way of putting it. Yeah.
It's definitely one of the spells.
Yeah, and then also a little knock for Feast of Hemlock Vale as well is that there is a big part of this cycle that is about event-focused mystics, which is really cool to see them not do the traditional stuff that they do, but it's a little bit hard to pull off if you don't have a full collection and you're missing a few like shiny events.
As a box, Feast suffers from the inclusion of Alessandra Zorzi, where not everything, but a lot of cards are slave to the fact that she exists in the box.
Yeah, I'm surprised when you get a spell suite that just have like Parlay as their unique thing.
Yeah, right. Like, it's
test with your brain. If you succeed, doing extra damage, and then it's a Parlay.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards that are here because she could play them.
Yes.
Not because they are good for whatever color they are.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's keep this going. We're going to run into Innsmouth Conspiracy. I had a panic. I was like, did I not put the cards on the slide? No, we are separating some. If there's multiple investigators to talk about and not too many player cards, we're going to talk about the investigators too briefly. Dexter Drake is the main mystic in the box. He's a really cool investigator.
He's the main mystic in the game.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's very fun to play. He does get better when you have a bigger cycle to play with, though, like when you have more cards. And Sister Mary is she has the mystic splash, but as Travis kind of said when we were getting ready, it's like hard to really
Yeah, I think she can play like just with her box. She can play the Paradoxical Covenant pretty okay because you get the Bless tokens for free, and then
you actually get the Paradoxical Covenant.
Yeah, you do actually get the Covenant, and the purple cards in Innsmouth are a lot more like curse slanted. So
Yeah. So like if you want to play, what you want to do is play Kohaku exclusively, like, yeah, you should probably pick this box up too.
Yeah.
Because it's the other one that does that.
Yeah. And notably, we have been talking about Paradoxical Covenant a lot. We didn't actually include it in the cards because we were looking for like things beyond just the box for these, not just like the one thing that actually goes here.
Yeah.
Paradoxical Covenant is a covenant that is a permanent that if you reveal a bless and a curse in the same test, you automatically succeed. That's what that card does.
Yeah.
However, these are cards that you could play beyond just that one deck. Promise of Power is a very good card, and it was the reason why I ultimately did agree with you that...
one of the best purple cards, actually.
Yes, it's easily one of the best, yeah.
In contention for the best level 0 purple card.
Yeah.
I personally... It's probably Spectral Razor and then Promise of Power for me. Yeah. Which we're going to get to
If we're
Spectral.
not counting the permanents, at least.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true, yeah. Sword Cane is also really playable. It's really nice in Dexter, but this is something that, like,
It's so playable.
if you have...
It's got a player card back and everything.
Yeah. If you have, like, Agnes Baker, you're not going to be using your hand slots that much. This is something that you can take advantage of. And then the spell suite in this one is Armageddon and Eye of Chaos, and then also the Evade one, which we didn't show here because...
The Sword Cane is literally just better.
It is literally actually just better, yeah.
I mean, Sword Cane is probably the most efficient way to evade with your brain if you don't want to do another thing as well.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to commit it to you don't have to commit the resources to using it until you want it, because it doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity, and you get to do it once for free when you play it anyway.
Yep. Yeah.
And it doesn't use charges. You just can only try once per turn, so...
And the Armageddon, the Eye of Chaos, while they are intended for the curse archetype, they're definitely like functional with if you're not doing it. Even if you just have Promise Power and like Tempt Fate in your deck or whatever.
Yep.
They can usually slot into like a smaller collection as clue getting or combat spells number 3 and 4. So
yeah,
it's not a total loss there.
Yeah. All right, going on to our number 7 here, we have the Scarlet Keys featuring Amina Zidane, who, yes, has all 3s in her stats. Her ability allows you to play things at a reduced cost and place Doom on them. There's a lot of payoffs to mitigate that in her actual cycle that are not pictured here because they're not relevant kind of like as a grand, just general recommendation, but that's what we got here. However, there are some nice cards in Scarlet Keys. There's also a lot of niche cards because there's the customizable stuff that you can do a lot of different things with. The one that we included here is the one on the far right at the top there, which is Living Ink. It gives stat boosts, which are like, I think, especially if you're just new at the game, is the easiest thing to immediately see how you can get value out of them.
Yep.
We also have Dowsing Rod. An endless way to get investigate with your brain can be very helpful, especially in your hand slots, which are not used too much. Uncage the Soul is really nice because the level 3 version, we're going to talk about the level 0 version, is that it's basically an additional copy of your Shriveling, which is really nice. Yeah.
And it's free.
And it's free. Yeah.
It's like a free refill on your Shriveling.
Which is pretty dang good.
It is.
We also have String of Curses and Explosive Ward here as 2 very playable methods of dealing with enemies. Explosive Ward...
it really shines on like the more flexy and supportive Mystic decks if you're into playing those, but it can be sort of an emergency button, especially until you get more experience to get extra copies of your combat spells and stuff like that.
Yeah. In addition, I mean, Explosive Ward does also work really well with like an Uncage the Soul. You can like, if an enemy is here now, you don't have to take the attack of opportunity. You can use Explosive Ward, then play Uncage the Soul to play your Shriveling again from your discard pile. And it also has 2 fists, which I think is pretty relevant.
Yeah, those are good symbols to have.
String of Curses is a little bit more campaign dependent, but the card is still also actually very good.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to our number 6 here, which is the Path to Carcosa, which has Akachi, and her ability is just your assets enter with additional charge.
Yep.
Just more value
Nice and
on your
simple.
charge stuff, yeah. Some really, like, while there are less cards than the other ones, these are really nice cards. St. Hubert's Key is played in, as you get more and more mystics, you're going to be like, I want to play this card with this mystic. Like, it's just hard to find a mystic that you wouldn't enjoy playing that with.
Yeah, the only downside is that 4 money is a lot.
Yes, 4 money is a lot. But luckily, you have your good friend David Renfield here, who...
He has infinite money.
Infinite money, yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, it just keeps coming out of him.
Yeah,
Despite
he is
it not being in his best interests.
Yeah.
He is like kind of opening the dev tool. Like
Yes, yeah. What is it? The Rosebud sheet in The Sims, which I didn't realize until I was younger was a reference to Citizen Kane. You know, but David Renfield is very, very good. He's very good. He also gives you +1 brain on top of giving you a boatload of cash
I think
too.
he's still the only Mystic ally at level 0 that gives you +1 brain.
I think there's only
yeah, it's kind of
two
weird how that
Mystics allies, right? That give you +1 brain.
There's him, and there's Ikyak,
Yeah.
and I want to say there's one more.
Oh,
It gives you brain.
She doesn't give you brain, but there's the one that gives you stats to if you have Doom on them.
Oh yeah, El Rabash.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of like brain.
It's kind of good. It's like hell yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, it's like green allies where you don't get foot, but it's the
It
thing
gives you
do.
brain, yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually lots of green allies that give you foot.
Yeah, but
And
they
they're like
don't
really
exist.
good too.
Not
Or-
at this stage of the game where we're buying all our expansions. For purple cards.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Purple cards, okay. Yeah.
Ward of Protection 2 is a very, very strong card
For multiplayer.
for multiplayer. Yeah, if you're playing true solo, my advice, play two-handed. That's always what we say
Well, I was
here.
going to say play a different game.
Yeah.
I was gonna say play a different card. But
I mean, you have 3 recommendations to go with there. And then this is the level 0 version of the Uncage the Soul, which is incredibly strong economy for your class. Yeah.
yeah, and if you don't need the money, it's 2 brains, and that's the thing you do.
Yeah.
It's good at
So-
every part of the game. Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
these,
you can use every part of the card.
these were cards that really impacted the Mystic class when it first came out. But yes, there are more that are somehow, yes,
you can actually
even better.
afford to play your cards.
Yes, which is nice because there wasn't like if you buy
You get poop to gold. That's what you got.
if you at this time, yeah.
That card is not good.
You buy them in release or you get poop to gold.
Yeah. That's why you should also buy the Jacqueline Fine deck because you get Voice of Ra, which is
So much better than
so
solid.
much better. Yeah. All right. Going on to our number 5 here, we got the Dream Eaters featuring everyone's favorite Luke Robinson. Luke Robinson is arguably one of the strongest investigators in the game. If someone says he's the strongest, I don't bat an eye. I'm just like, you're 100% right. However, he is a little bit picky when it comes to rule stuff, and to truly achieve the heights in Luke Robinson, I think you need to have a bit more experience.
Yeah,
You can definitely
yeah.
be overwhelming too if you're
Yeah.
newer to the game and still trying to like figure out what your cards do.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're, I mean, like if you want to play Luke and you're just starting out, I would definitely recommend printing out a sheet that has a list of all of the lightning bolt windows.
Yes, because
in
that's a good
turn,
way to discover.
Because there are a lot of them and many that exist in places you wouldn't think.
Yeah. On top of this, though, there's some really strong player cards here. Spectral Razor and Read the Signs. Spectral Razor was one of the cards that I talked about earlier. Non-permanent level 0 card, very strong.
It is extremely good, yes.
Read the Signs is also incredibly good. There's also Scroll Prophecy. I was going to say on the experience card, but there's Scroll Prophecies here too.
This
Card
is
draw.
Another one of Mystic's weaknesses is that they struggle for card draw outside of Arcane shit for the most part.
Yeah. And what I really like about Scroll Prophecies too, if you are playing with 3 or more players, this makes the kind of flex Mystic a lot more viable because if there's downtime, giving you or your teammates cards is very
It's a
helpful.
fantastic support card too.
Yes, yeah.
I've definitely played it, and like it really smooths out some of the earlier games when you're just like, hey, your fighter can't find a weapon. You're like, you want to draw 9 cards this turn?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, give up your turn so they can have their
So they
best
can
turn.
play
Yeah.
the game. Yeah.
We have Word of Command, which can help you find your experienced spell cards. So it's basically like another copy of your Shriveling, so to speak. Twyla Catherine Price allows you to get more use out of your spells, which is really nice for things, especially your Rite of Seeking, which you're probably only using once a turn and still winning the game. And then we have Mind's Eye, which, while a little bit niche, is another approach that you can do for taking your Mystic strategy.
Yeah, it's nice, especially if you decide to pick up or have the Scarlet Keys. I think it plays fairly nicely with that Doom archetype. Can help shore up your the Doom assets while making use of your arcane slots.
Yeah.
So,
She's not pictured here, but Patrice is.
so that's neat. I should try that.
You should, yeah.
Not an Amina though.
You don't tell me what to do.
Okay, but like using 3 instead of 3 is like
No, I'm gonna play other Mystic cards to make the brain better. But come on, man.
I mean, I do want to see you bring, because you've only brought one Amina deck. I want to see you bring another one.
Yeah.
I want to do one too.
No,
because
I think Mind's Eye's real value is when you're playing with lower player counts and maybe somebody's got to like break a door down.
Yep.
Or you got to like
Investigate with your book.
Yeah, you got to do something with not brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game's
Then you
like
get to
make,
be like just kidding with brain.
Yeah.
make foot
definitely.
tests and you're like, no.
Brain test
Yeah,
instead.
make a brain test or take a pile of damage. What if it was actually just a brain test though?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
All right.
if you pretended your cards were all printed in a way that's favorable to me.
Yeah.
It does make it a lot easier, doesn't it? Yeah. All right, on to our number 4, which is the Forgotten Age. Father Mateo is here.
I bet
Correct.
Arcane Research's back is really sore.
It is carrying the hell out of this one for sure. Father Mateo, I had a video on him. You need to get all of McBride 2, I think, before he becomes like consistently like in a niche for him. But he's here because he is the Mystic. Arcane Research is a very powerful card. Broken, to some people would say, just what it does for the Mystics.
Yeah, like the entire Mystic experience curve is designed around this card existing,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Other cards that come with it as well. Miss Aurelia, which is the evade card that we actually play from this, of all like the Mystic stuff, that people actually play this card.
They don't play the Ineffable Truth. I think that one's good.
I think that one is good
I
too.
play that one.
I mean of the cycles though here. Not
Oh,
like
okay.
that. Yeah. Just because it's so cheap, like it's dirt cheap, they practically are like, please take this.
They are.
Recall the Future, as well as just a card that it's just Lucky's Premonition, which is one that, like Ritual Candles, which we're going to get to, has one of those things where we're like, we love Premonition, then we're like, we don't like Premonition, and suddenly you're like, wait a minute, we love Premonition again.
That was really good.
Yeah, it's like, this card actually is pretty damn nice. And then Enraptured, I included this one mostly just because if you have Daisy, and she can play this card as well from that.
Yeah, it's pretty niche, but there are a couple of decks where it's good.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, when it's good, it's good.
But like this one is here because of like
Arcane
Arcane Research. Yeah. Yeah.
A single card
It's
dragged the Forgotten Age up from the trash.
yeah. And I mean Father Mateo, everyone loves Father Mateo. He's
Yeah,
God's chosen.
you just need a card from our number 9 rank.
Yeah, you just need to do that to but everyone loves Father Mateo. He's like he gets 5 experience to start with.
Yeah, you get to cancel auto fail once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's...
Drawing the
Awesome,
Star is
very
really
clutch.
exciting.
Drawing the Star is exciting.
And he's got 4 brain.
His
which
weakness is a snake, which is like a nightmare for a
Amina.
mystic. You know, like having like your weakness be an enemy as a mystic is really bad most of the time because
Yeah.
you're like usually charge based fighting.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our number 3.
just show up with Father Mateo and the Cyclopean Hammer, like...
Yeah,
I don't like you, and you don't like me.
Yeah, I mean. All right, on to our top 3, and these ones are all bangers. I think these all kind of get like a glowing recommendation for ones to start with, just like the last time.
Yeah.
We have Edge of the Earth, and no, this isn't all there is to talk about for Edge of the Earth. These are just the
is.
2
Because
investigators.
Lily Chen's really a premier mystic investigator.
She is the mystic on the tin, but she's not actually a mystic. But she does play the level 0 mystic cards, and there are a lot of good level 0 mystic cards that you can tap into. Norman Withers does upgrade into experienced mystic, so he's the mystic of this cycle. You'll notice that a lot of mystics do have like high brain and high book, and there might be a payoff card in this cycle to take advantage of it. And it's actually right here next to me, Occult Theory. This is a skill that allows you to, get whatever one you're not doing, get the other for brain or book. For the cards in this one, the spell suite, I think all 4 of them are good. Some of them are gooder than others, but I think all of them are notable cards that you can use.
Yeah, that's just true. That's just true about like every kind of card in the game, though. Some of them are gooder than others.
It's true.
No,
Yeah.
some of them are bad.
That's this. We're seeing like a half glass full and a half glass empty right there.
Some of them are decidedly bad.
Brandakathuga is a very strong way to kill things. Divination is a nice way to get clues. Blur, it's evade that doesn't cost an action, which is kind of a problem with evade, right?
That was such a... And Blur's here too.
Yep. And Earthly Serenity is very strong healing that can pop off and do good things. These also each have upgraded versions that just
Level
get
4.
better.
They're just
yeah.
more.
Yeah.
It's just more of the thing. Yeah,
Cyclopean
the only real
Hammer.
downside here is that they cost 1 to start doing the thing.
Yeah.
Like 1 XP.
It's okay. It's you get in the thick of it.
Yeah, so actually, we didn't put it here, but there is in the thick of it here, which lets you start with 3 experience at the cost of 2 trauma. Take it.
Yeah.
Take it.
It's a high value box. You get 2 design mistakes.
Cyclopean Hammer is,
The other one.
yep.
Yeah, this is a really strong spell combat, mystic combat card, so much so that you don't need to play other combat cards. It'll obsolete any of the spells you have in your deck.
Yep.
So that's cool.
There was a card in Innsmouth Conspiracy called Enchant Weapon that lets you use your brain to attack and deals extra damage. And you can use it once a turn. And they were like, you know what we should do? That 3 times a turn.
Yeah. Also, for like 1 card, you don't have to invest anything else into it.
Yeah, and also, like, it knocks things back. It's very powerful. You have to swing the hammer at least once, even if you do it begrudgingly, because your sled dogs have made Travis
I
angry.
don't remember that.
Well, we're gonna lose.
There's also Down the Rabbit Hole, which is probably close
This
to
is your-
being like the
Your
third.
half. This is
Yeah.
your half design. This
Yeah, it's like it'll be there soon, but this card rewards you for upgrading. It has a balance where you have to you pay more for new cards you add in, and you actually don't need to only upgrade. You can actually, as long as you're getting like XP positive, it'll be worth it. And also, it's going to like surge your upgrades quicker, and then you can
You don't
do
have to
late.
be like literally XP positive either off of it.
Yeah, because like if you get that early rush of XP, it'll be better in the
Yeah,
long
like you
term.
level up your Rite of Seekings scenario earlier, and then you get like maybe 2 extra experience from that scenario that you otherwise wouldn't have gotten from clearing off the locations. And then, yeah, you might have to spend that 2 experience later to upgrade other things, but you're still like where you should be, and you're up to experience from the down rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that front-loading resources better than getting them later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Wow.
you'll also notice that as you pick up more and more, you actually can build decks that have no problem only upgrading cards, and then it's just
Even
like...
if it is a little boring.
Yeah. Astronomical Atlas, less ubiquitous than the others, but this card is very strong as well.
It's so fun.
And very fun, yeah.
Yeah.
And also really good with Norman
like the
Withers
other
and
two.
Divination. Like,
Yeah.
it's really good for that. Parallel Fates is also actually really good card selection in the Mystic class. So just, that's here too, because I think that is pretty playable in any Mystics. It's also level 2, so you can play it in, like, Daisy and all that as your collection grows.
Yeah, it's really nice to find your Cyclopean Hammer.
Yes, yeah. All right, on to our number 2 here, which is the Circle Undone, which featured 2 actual Mystics, not a
Wow.
fake Mystic this time.
I mean, Mary is like half a mystic.
Well, they're all
She's
kind
like,
of...
she's like 3/4 of a mystic. I guess she spells 0 to 5, right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. But yeah, Maria Lambeau cares about Doom. Diana Stanley has a really cool cancel or ignore thing. Diana Stanley is playable outside of Circle Undone because we've done it. But she gets better as you get more and more options
Yeah,
as well.
of course.
Yeah.
They did
Yeah.
include a fair amount of support for her in the Circle Undone, though.
Yeah,
so
and she gets like 1 in her opening hand to start as one of her signatures.
Yep.
In her not in her opening hand or
Yeah.
in the deck.
in her opening hand. Yeah, you add it after you mulligan.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
very important to read all of Diana Stanley's setup instructions.
Look, if it was
She's a
on the
little
front,
bit
I would
weird.
remember
She's a
it,
little
but
bit
it's
weird.
on the back, so like
Yeah.
it's not. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, she
That's
also,
okay. I've done it too.
she
It's,
also has like a little bit of a weird deck size. It's like 33, I think, not counting the cards that you have to play.
I think it's 35. 35.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
sure.
for the-
It's
it's
like
the-
it's
the
like a
5
little bit
cards she
off.
gets.
yeah, it is.
A
Yeah.
little bit off.
Yeah. In the cycle itself, there are a lot of bangers. We got 2 little honorable mentions here. One's bigger than the
so
other.
I never thought that you would go to a slide and say there's a lot of bangers with Wither on it.
I love Wither.
I know you do.
I do.
That like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that'd be unthinkable.
Yeah. I have to go back and like look at what I've said about Wither in the past. I need to find if it was
Go
like
back and repent.
a slow grow or if it actually was just like a wall, right? Like in my
I
opinion.
think it was a wall because like Wither level 0, we were pretty harsh on when it came out, and then
I mean,
we read
but-
level 4, and we were like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
I mean, like Wither 0 is like it's there to hold the slot for Wither 4.
Let's make Wither.
Yeah, you
4
need to
cost
like
less.
you need to actually like get to there. But Wither 4 is a banger. But you need to be building around it. That's kind of the
Yeah.
thing that goes here as well. It's not like your tool that you can just fight with consistently because there needs to be some sort of payoff, or like you use it to finish off lower health enemies when you also have your shriveling in play. Just something to be aware of with Wither. It's a banger with an asterisk. That asterisk is really tiny. It's very tiny.
Very tiny.
Scroll of Secrets is some card advantage. There's an upgraded version. It lets you to just like add more cards in your hand. This is one that you should look at the taboo list because
The upgrade one doesn't let you add more cards to your hand.
Oh, sorry. It does. It gives you.
It lets you look at the card deck too.
But it gives you 4 uses instead of 3, so you do get one more card out of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
It is a lightning bolt in the taboo list. I highly suggest playing it that way because
It's very bad otherwise.
yes,
Yep.
You can
Yep.
just draw a card with an action without spending a resource and a
Yes.
card from your hand and an
Yep.
action to play a
Yeah,
card.
if you're gonna play it as an action, you should pretend
Yeah,
it's
you
not
should.
your.
yeah,
just
100%.
don't play
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And you might be asking about, can I just play with some of the taboo list? No.
Well,
You can, but
what
don't.
What are they gonna do? Send the Pinkertons to?
Yes,
Yeah.
they might.
Oh, is that what they said?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Like
yeah.
I do in a week.
We also have
Keep
Sixth
up.
Sense.
I have to move.
We have Sixth Sense here, which is just non-charge based clue getting. Like Wither, it pops off more if you're building around it, but it also is still just fine as like a slot to go there. If you've already bought Dunwich Legacy, this works really well with Zoe, that kind of stuff. Diana Esperance is some event-based payoff, and she's very good at that kind of stuff. And maybe there's an event that's really good with her in the cycle.
I don't think so. They wouldn't do that.
They wouldn't. Would they do that, Travis?
I don't think so. No.
No, but what
that
if-
would be weird if they print something to make the card useful. You're probably intended to play Blinding Light with it from the core set.
Let's go.
I mean,
evade.
like Knives for Hands would be.
It would be, yes, yeah. Spectral Razor. But there is, luckily, we were all just being a little bit cheeky. There's Deny Existence. That's really good with Diana Esperance. It's also just a very playable, like, very good Mystic card, and the upgraded version does the opposite. So if you would take damage, you heal damage.
Yeah, but make sure you look up the rules for it because it doesn't work the way it's written.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk about the FAQ stuff here.
Fine.
Yeah.
When you talk about taboo but not actual FAQ, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, taboo is easy. They just like changed what the card says on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Taboo is, it goes through less changes than the FAQ does. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can also just.
I'm a little bit bitter about this still.
I mean, I think that's fair. I think, yeah, but that's not this video. Enchanted Blade. Bryn likes the sword. We put the sword
You
here.
guys don't
It's
like
cool.
the sword?
I like the sword.
I like the sword.
I like the sword.
You just seem
Yeah.
to be like particularly enamored with it.
Yeah.
It does so much, so much damage.
Yeah.
So excited he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can
is really
do
cool.
a lot of damage in a very not many actions.
And he uses charge.
It does
Yeah.
use charges. It's not for every mystic though.
No.
Yeah,
Many
it's
of them
fair.
have very low punch number, and you do have to succeed a punch test, or have a mind's eye and a way to have 3 arcane
I bet that'd be
slots.
good with It's free.
It is free. It is free. All right. Let's go on to our number 1 here, which is the Dunwich Legacy. Jim Culver is not. I'm going to just put a little pin in this. Jim Culver is not getting this because he is special enough to deserve it on slides. It's just that we have. His slide was mostly filled with cards, I believe. Jim. He turns skulls into zeros. That's what he does. That's what he
Yeah,
does.
he's not great.
Yeah. See, look, it's filled with cards. Okay, that's why he has.
That would've been
his
so
own. Yeah.
funny.
If it wasn't, if there was just
Yeah.
like a perfect spot for 2, just had to slip that in. All right. So what's big about the Dunwich Legacy, why it's our number 1 recommendation, is we said this in the Survivor video, that this is kind of like built in mind with the core set. They're kind of like
It's the same set.
yeah, it's growing off of what was there.
It's actually very obvious with the Mystic cards in particular, where you get level 0 Ray of Seeking and level 4 Ray of Seeking, and level 3 Shriveling and level 5 Shriveling, the Dunwich Legacy, and then the core set now comes with level 2 Ray of Seeking and level 0 Shriveling.
Yes. Yeah. So
So like they actually perfectly complete their cycles.
yes.
Yeah, it's actually like a better sequel than Joker Part 2.
Yes, very, very relevant. That movie
So-
is bombing. It's doing awful, if you don't know. Yeah, Joker Part 2, that movie is not doing good.
Not as good as this.
Not as good as this. This is, yeah,
No,
really,
no.
yeah. This is really nice just because it gives you, like, something to do with your experience, which is kind of nice. Because that's kind of like where the fun part of the game
Not
is.
that you get any from Dunwich, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you wouldn't know from playing through the campaign, but
Yeah.
it is largely just like expanded concepts from
Yeah.
from the core set.
Yeah, you get like a couple of the other, like tastes of the other Mystic archetypes. You get like some XP accelerant in Delve Too Deep, Fearless, Reinforce That Brain concept and gives you a little bit of healing. Warrior Protection, it gives you a nice juicy 5 XP card to play with.
Yep.
And Ritual, why don't you take Ritual Candles? But why is Ritual Candles here? Why is Ritual Candles here?
You said that had to be here.
I didn't. So.
I don't.
Okay, fine.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I thought you'd like to talk about Ritual Candles. You like it.
Ritual Candles is like a lot better than it looks on the outside. It looks like it's just +1 sometimes, but like what you really want to be reading into this one is when you reveal a symbol token, that symbol token's modifier is like the difficulty is reduced by 1. Which turns a lot of them into 0s or -1s, which you probably should be passing anyway.
Yep.
And it costs 1 resource to play, 1 action, and takes up a hand slot that doesn't matter.
Yep.
Unless it does.
Yeah.
Like,
but like
you'll know.
But most of the time, like it doesn't.
It mostly doesn't.
Yeah, because your arcane slots are your hand slots.
Yeah, unless you're like playing a Cyclopean Hammer or something.
Yeah, and then you don't need
but
it.
Whatever. Yeah, right.
But like the other thing too is that especially with the Rite of Seeking and Shriveling, they have that downside where those symbols come up, making those tokens softer, so you don't like spend a charge, and then also
get
like,
the downside and also
spend,
fail.
You spend a charge, fail, get retaliated. Eat some horror,
it makes all those
like
a lot softer. And then if you even have 2, like having each of those tokens be like +2 is really nice.
Makes most of them 0s or +1s, and if you're not succeeding on a +1, then like, oh geez.
Yeah.
Bad times. What are you doing playing Jim?
I mean, yeah. So the biggest downside of Dunwich is that like Jim is the investigator.
It's not great for
He's
this.
still like serviceable as just a mystic.
Yes, but like as you get more, I mean, you'll fall in love with Jim. A lot of people do. Like you either love him or you hate him. It's this weird thing that he does. There's no one who's just like meh on Jim, you know? Like there's no one's like, yeah.
It's like a classical problem with jazz musicians.
It's true. No, it is.
Like you fall in love with them, but they're not good for you.
Yeah. Oh, it's really a flavor win.
Yeah, so it's like a huge flavor win.
All right. That'll be this. We'll be here with Rogues in a few weeks. But we have a Halloween tier list. Halloween list video this year, so we're going to do something Halloween related.
Wow.
I have some ideas.
Oh, you don't know what it is yet.
No. Well, I have some ideas. But I want to do a huge thank you to everyone who watched this episode and to all of our patrons. Once I find the patron thing, there it is. All these people, they all rock. If you want to join our Patreon, you can do so by finding a link in the video description. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow or next week or Sunday. I mean, choose a day of the week. There will be another Arkham video for you to come watch us hang out in. In the meantime, have a good one. And as always, a GG's.